As much as you can or would like to, could you just describe the team meeting last night, what Draymond said, just kind of the setting of it, and how influential you felt it was?
It was just a level of awareness that matters at this stage of our careers and this stage in a playoff series that was going our way, then got away from us, and comes down to a game seven where it's all about just what can you control going into a game seven. That'll give yourself the best chance to win a game on the road, and educating a lot of guys that haven't been in this situation before on what to expect and what wins, in this environment. And Draymond started with himself, just talking about having a level of poise and composure. I talked about some of the stuff we can control that don't necessarily show up in the stat sheet, like taking care of, well, that does, taking care of the ball, but like not missing box outs, not getting blown by middle drive, stuff like that. Game plan discipline. And Jimmy talked about just he's going to breathe confidence in everybody. So it's just a matter of getting everybody on the same page going into a hostile environment.
Steph, now that the series is over, is there anything that you could tell Jaylen to help him going into the offseason, coming out of his first playoff series like this?
Every opportunity at this stage is a learning experience. I don't know what goes on in their locker room or what he's asked to do or how they talk, so I stay in my lane on that. But there's always a chance to come back stronger, better. Use the off season to be honest with yourself on what you need to do to get better. We all go through that journey in your career. Losing sometimes can make you better, so you just don't let it knock your confidence.
Steph, he was their leading scorer coming into the series. How were y'all able to slow him down and make things difficult for him?
For who?
For Jaylen, he was their leading scorer. How were y'all able to slow him down and make things difficult for him?
I think there's just game plan discipline. They have a lot of threats out there, and again, they were a 2 seed for a reason because they had a certain style that their defense fed into their offense a lot. But for him specifically, it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. Just he demands attention, so you want to try to send bodies at him as much as possible. Fred got hot those 2 games. That really, got them kind of settled, and he was a legit scorer for him. Obviously, Sengun's going to do what he does, but if you don't let them have easy baskets, then you try to kind of feast on a little bit of inexperience, but you never know how it's going to go.
Steph, y'all played the Rockets 12 times this year between the regular season and the postseason, and probably every time you've been asked about their defense. But now that this season is over with, can you speak to the uniqueness of the challenge that they face and the adjustments you had to make from game to game going against them?
Every game was so different. It was all 12 of them. I mean, from the rotations to the score, it was low scoring for a majority of them. Then it became a shooting fest, and this game was kind of like the back to that pattern of a low scoring, just defensive, physical, tough, grinded out type of game. So it was, I can only speak for myself in the way that that was one of the toughest defenses I think I've ever faced, in the sense of the physicality that was allowed early in the series, and then their commitment to just trying to take away all the patterns that we usually thrive off of and guard me at half court at times. It was wild. But just staying patient but still being aggressive was the difference tonight. I only had 3 points in the first half and like 5 shots, but eventually I'm trying to make the right play and soften them up, and eventually you can make your presence felt scoring wise, but everything else was about just trying to make winning plays.
Steph, 2 questions for you. First one, how difficult was it to kind of play that floor game. Last time you were in a game 7, you just took like 30 shots you were going for. But this one, it seems like you were pretty patient. Was that difficult to pull off?
No, because kind of to the last question, I knew how they were going to guard me, and if I tried to play hero ball too early and it didn't, shots didn't fall, then it could kill our rhythm. Honestly, my whole goal was to only have one turnover. Literally, that was all I was thinking about, because I knew that meant I didn't have to, I wouldn't get rushed or get into traps. We usually are going to have an open shot somewhere, or somebody dive into the basket based on the gravity that was out there, and it kind of played off that way. I missed a couple, maybe 2 easy ones in the first half, and then you start thinking about your shot a little bit. But you look up at the score, and we're doing what we're supposed to do. So it was definitely kind of reinforced, keep playing that way, and eventually I'll find some open looks. But we were scoring fine, and then just get stops and play defense.
Secondarily, you've won 5 series now in Houston. What you think your reputation is in the city?
I'm a winner.
Steph, all that you've been through with Draymond in your 13 years, it looked like at the end of the game you walked up to him and pointed into maybe the stands or up at the scoreboard. What can you share what you said to him? And then also when you guys were walking off, I think Draymond was screaming, "Surprise, surprise."
We were just talking about, it was back to the score. We wanted to keep them under 90. We had done it a couple times and we won. And if we felt very confident that if we could do that again, we'd be able to score enough to create some separation, and that's kind of how it played out.
So much of what Draymond was talking about was about how he lost his poise in Game 6. How important will it be for him to kind of straddle that line against the Wolves, who have Gobert, who have Ant, who likes to talk, who have a bunch of guys who will play physically?
No better lesson than tonight. Like, make it about basketball. He doesn't need to be a mute and not talk and be demonstrative. We want that type of Draymond, but conserve the energy towards us, our huddles. Even when he had that kind of mix up with Van Vliet, he didn't react, go talk to the refs, try to plead his case. It didn't go his way. It was an unfortunate call, but he kept it about basketball. And we're going to have to continue to do that, knowing the minutes we're playing and the tough test that Minnesota is going to present in the way that they've been playing.
Steph, you've been through a number of Game 7s. When you think back to your first one, what's the biggest difference between you then and you now? Is it a concentration, being able to sustain concentration for 48 minutes, keeping your nerves down? What's the maturation process like now?
Yeah, it's just reps and experience and know-how. That first one against the Clippers back in 2014, we were up at the half, and we were feeling good about ourselves, and then we kind of got walked down by just physical, kind of hard-nosed basketball, and that was kind of the nature of that whole series. It was very similar to this one. And just fully committing to every possession. Like, that was something we did tonight, that we needed every 50-50 ball. We needed, to keep them off the offensive glass, keep our turnovers down. We only had 3 turnovers in the first half. It was just simple things that you can control. Obviously, Buddy had an amazing, first half and took advantage of the space and knocked down shots. But everything else that we could control, we did and checked off the boxes, and that allows you to withstand runs and a hostile environment on the road. Say what? Yeah. Talent, skill. It's something that either it comes naturally or you go through reps and you start to figure it out, how you can manage a game mentally, emotionally, and physically. That's all a part of, the game of basketball. It's the stuff that you see, in between the lines. And for 2 games, we didn't have it. Like, the clear as day, the first possession of the fourth quarter in Game 6, that was a lack of awareness and focus. And then tonight was the exact opposite. So we took advantage of another opportunity.
Steph, we kind of joked about it before the series started, but now that the series is over and you went to war against him for 7 games, how much more respect does the camp coach have for his former camper and Amen Thompson?
I talked to him right after the game. Like, you kind of saw him develop in front of everybody's eyes. I know people who watch the Rockets play, night in, night out for the last 2 years have seen the potential, seen the raw athleticism, the hunger, and he's a dog. And he showed all 7 games. And he's going to be a problem for sure. He's going to try to develop his game, especially offensively. But defensively, he's a freak athlete, and I think he loves the challenge and loves to be in the fight. So, yeah, he was tough all series, and it's kind of crazy that the old man, got it done, though.
Steph, Draymond had the talk last night. You had a memorable speech before the Sacramento Game 7. This is not the first time you've won a Game 7 here. How familiar does this feel? Is it like what you guys do? You guys are able to pull it together maybe in different ways in moments like this, in familiar ways.
Yeah, we're thankful to be able to say that because we've had the way we came into it was another opportunity that we should be thankful for, considering all the things that we've gone through our entire this entire run, and we're still trying to do it. So you can tell there's such a care factor for every guy on this team, and it starts with me, Draymond, Looney, who's been here with us, and now obviously with Jimmy and his playoff experience. And so we're going to have to rely on that as long as this ride continues. And the familiar part is, figuring out the chessboard in between the series and sticking with it, not letting go of the rope, and being able to turn the page from one game to the next and meet the moment. It's so much fun out there. I think that's what we talked about to our guys the most, was just there's no more fun that you can experience in basketball than a playoff series, especially if it goes the distance. So embrace it.
Steph, as a shooter who knows that zone, what was it like to see Buddy get in that, especially given his sort of unique personality on this team? And did it bring back any flashbacks of, Game 6 Clay, or when you've seen Clay take over playoff games like that, to shoot the way he did with no dribbling, right? Just catch and shoot.
Yeah, that's what the game called for, and he answered it. Like, to be able to turn the page from, again, 0 for 4 last game, been up and down all series. He probably tell you this is the first time you played well in this building, so it was great and timely to be able to have that shooter's confidence that, if the game says shoot, you let it fly, and we're gonna live with it, and I'm happy for him because he works so hard all year. Getting to know him this whole season, you see how much basketball means to him, and this is only his second playoff run, and for him to have a game like that in a Game 7, and he tied a record for most threes, and it's pretty special. So I'm happy for him. Now we got to keep it going.
What do you expect from Anthony Edwards in facing Minnesota?
He watched a little bit of their first round series. He's playing with supreme confidence. We know, they had their run last year, and they're a new look with Randall, but same Ant who's trying to take strides with every opportunity he gets, and it's going to be a tough challenge. We know you're gonna have to send multiple bodies at him and figure out a game plan to go at him, but. Yeah, they're hot right now. They've been playing some great basketball the last couple of months, and we're excited that we have an opportunity to have some more basketball to play too.